It's definitely been a little while for a video. It's been, I think, over a month now, so I'm a little behind. I had actually recorded some stuff a little while ago, but I just kept getting busy with uni, or I guess me procrastinating work. I started editing the videos, but they were kind of always behind. I always felt like there wasn't too much to be showing. And I just wanted to update you guys on what's happening currently. Just with the videos, they were sort of a bit behind on time. Obviously, not that these videos have to be uploaded timely in terms of in a linear fashion, but I had recorded some stuff before, but I've done a lot more work now over the past few weeks, and yeah, we just had a lot of assessments and projects to do. And it's been pretty interesting, to say the least. It's definitely been a lot more challenging this semester. Not too intensely, but I guess it's had me rethinking how I should approach assessments and different tasks that we do in class. But I guess being uncomfortable is the only way you're going to learn, because if you're comfortable, you're not really going to progress anywhere else. So, yeah, I think it's definitely been an eventful couple weeks, to say the least. I can show you a few different tasks that we've actually spent some time working on. So this first task that I'll speak on is our body form task. I don't recall how much I spoke on it, but for this body form task, we were essentially creating a geometric shaped garment. The garment was essentially based off of a basic bodice, and then we were to attach these 3D shapes to it to create this 3D looking piece, and then we would cut it up and essentially make the pattern for it. Although it was definitely a lot easier said than done, because it did take me like a whole weekend just to get that one task done. I think this was a week and a half ago now. It was a couple of Saturdays ago. Overall, I quite like how my piece turned out. I think it's pretty interesting with the two protruding sides of the back. I kind of had some like Evangelion type inspiration behind it. Not entirely, but it kind of turned out that way, and I actually quite like how it looked overall. And you know, I think it was definitely an interesting task, although it was definitely mind-numbing at times. It's quite rewarding to have done it. I believe it was about 13 pieces, so 26 total for both the left and right side. But I'm quite happy with the overall outcome of it, to be fair. It's a pretty cool item. Another subject I touched on was our constructed textiles, which was about the knitting. And this week we actually took the 3 samples we had to hand knit and had dyed them in different types of dyes, and reactive dyes and acidic dyes. It actually came out pretty interesting to see these different fibers reacting to the acids and the different vats that we dipped them in. I believe, if I'm not wrong, it was a logwood, which is like a natural dye. There was a acidic dye, which I can't remember the chemical usage. And then there was this yellow direct dye, which was very intensive, and it came out like the brightest, I think. I can show a photo of all the 3 different swatches here, but it's actually pretty cool to see yeah, how different fibers react and whatnot, and how you can think of dyeing a fabric. Obviously, this is only like not even like a smidgen of the amount of dyes you could play around with, as we actually utilize different dyes in my other textile subject called surface form. So surface form focused on creating 24 swatches using a range of different techniques and dyes and whatever else. I will say a friend and I were kind of struggling with the subject, as we didn't really have too many ideas like come to fruition until the last couple of weeks. I've only had like my main bulk of ideas actually come within this last weekend, just I suppose just doing more research towards it to actually get a sense of what I wanted to accomplish. So the theme for my textile samples was originally moss and I suppose just growth on trees and whatnot. Although I did come up with a handful of textiles that relatively relate to the topic, I feel like I kind of steered more towards the tree aspect of that, and I think it's more conversion to a roots, and with moss being just a sideline to that idea. So I've done like a lot of hand stitching and like shibori stitching techniques to create these really intricate looking shapes when you gather up fabric. I think I've got a few photos here of me doing the befores and afters. There would be long strands of thread you would stitch through the fabric, and depending on how you've stitched it in, you'd then gather it, and then afterwards you would see this result of these gathered bits being held really tight so they're not dyed at all, and the outside wrinkles, I guess, are the only bits that are dyed, and it comes out with this interesting pattern. I haven't dyed them yet, but I may or may not have photos of it when I do happen to dye it. So you'll probably see this before I even get to see it, but they are pretty cool to see. And if not, I'll just get some Pinterest ideas to show you for reference. Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty cool to do. Although it is a bit scary in the sense that I have to get the assessment done for next Monday, and I've still got a few left to do. I'm not too worried per se. I should be able to get it done, but yeah, that's definitely a subject that had me stumped, to say the least. I think that's mainly it for the assessments. Saying it out loud to you guys, it makes it seem less intensive, but in the moment, I think it is quite a lot to get through, especially when it's all crammed into all into 1 week, and we have to get it done for each week and in preparation for the next. So the only other subject is my fashion intersection subject, which I haven't touched on too much, but it is like essentially a history or theory-based subject, sorry. For the first assessment task, which is due in a couple of weeks from now, it is essentially just taking a fashion theory or one that you may have made up, getting contemporary examples of how your fashion theory is true or whatever else, and pretty much just discussing your theory and how it exists in the fashion world. It's pretty interesting, although sometimes it becomes a bit mind-boggling because you kind of get in this rabbit hole of just different theories and whatnot, so it kind of confuses you, or at least it does for me, but it's pretty cool to talk about it, especially with the class. Our tutor, he is very interested into his work, so he makes it very lively for our class. So, and we always have a lot of discussions happening each week, so it's pretty fun to be in that class. It's like the last class we do for the week, it's on a Thursday afternoon. So it is, although mentally intensive, it is pretty relaxing in comparison to the rest of the subjects. But yeah, it's been pretty decent. I kind of wish I could do this more consistently, but with work, this sort of uni work that I have to get done, I guess I just don't give myself the time. Yeah, I think that's all I have for the time being. It's just been pretty chill. I've just been relaxing in the meantime. Side note, for anyone who has watched it, new Invincible season was pretty valid. I've just been really obsessed with the show recently and reading the comic book, so that's been like half of what my relaxation time has involved. So I probably could have done some videos in the meantime, but I just wanted to give myself a break from all the work that we were doing. But yeah, hopefully everything's been going well for you guys. I think that's all for me for now, so